Hi, today we will discuss about lost objects. We begin Deuteronomy chapter 21 verse 22, where the Torah is discussing about someone who received a death penalty by the Jewish court by stoning. Then they will hang him on a tree. The Arizal, one of the great Kabbalists that lived in the city of Tzfas, when his teacher, the Ramak, Rav Moshe Cordova, passed away, he gave a eulogy based on today's Torah verse that says, "V'chiyeh beish," when a person will have chet mishpat moves, the judgment of death. But chet is also from the sin, meaning that you lack godliness. So over here he translated it as he lacked the judgment of death, meaning he didn't deserve to die. V'homas, but yet the person dies. V'saliso oisei aleit, you will hang it on the tree, meaning you should depend the reasoning of this death for the tree, the original sin that Adam and Eve had by eating from the tree in the Garden in Eden. That is the cause for the death of any person that does not deserve to die. So such a person that does die, you should never leave the corpse overnight on the tree. Why is that? Because the image of God is in a human being, and it's an embarrassment not just for the person, but also for God to leave it overnight. Lost objects. So if you see something, an ox or a sheep, and you should take it and return it to its owner. You cannot turn a blind eye. What happens now that the object that you find, you don't know where the owner is. So you should keep it by you until you find the owner. Now you have the dilemma of something that's actually going to cost you for maintaining it. So now comes the scenario. The Talmud explains like this. If the maintenance cost is going to be more than what you can benefit from the use of that object, then you shall sell it and keep the money until the owner returns. However, if the benefit that you can receive is greater than the money that you're putting in to maintain, then you just keep it by you until you find the right owner, and that is by making sure you ask him questions to show that it really belongs to him. We continue that if you see someone struggling with his donkey and the load and he needs help, you should go out and help him. Now, the mitzvah of helping him is only when he is helping himself. What happens if he decides that you have a mitzvah to help me because I'm struggling and I'm just going to sit aside and watch you help me? Then you're not required to help him no longer. A man or a woman should not seek to wear the other gender's clothing in order to entice adultery. If you happen to see a nest and there's the mother and its chicks or the eggs, you shall not take the mother with the chicks or eggs, or just take the chicks and eggs by itself and leave the mother there. You first have to take the mother, let it fly away, and then you can take its children. Today's Tanya, we discuss about how much is a person supposed to give to tzedakah, to charity. So the Talmud mentions that a fifth of your earnings, that is the most you should give. Now, this measurable and calculated amount of the fifth will in return give you the kindness of God in your life, unto your soul. But what happens to someone that lacks the Torah mitzvahs from the past? There was a period that he didn't do that. So he actually lacks revelation of godliness on his soul. So then he needs to seek a more greater kindness of God that's beyond the measurable amount, and therefore he will have to give more than the fifth. Just like someone who needs medical assistance, he will spend more than what his calculated amount of spending is. Same too, when you talk about the redemption, the soul healing, you will spend more because that will give the blessing of the kindness of God beyond calculations. And therefore, the spending limit of fifth won't be your calculation no more. You'll give to those who need beyond that calculation, and then God will bestow upon you his kindness beyond calculation. Today's mitzvah is the mitzvah that we discussed yesterday about sanctifying the holy day of Shabbos by making Kiddush, and after the Shabbos by doing the Havdalah service. Our sages have taught us that when you do make the Kiddush, as the Torah describes about the Shabbos, that v'karasa l'Shabbos oneg, you will call to Shabbos a day of pleasure. So in order to show that you are enjoying and that Shabbos is pleasurable, you need to eat. Therefore, when you make the Kiddush has to be followed by the food. Typically, you wash your hands with hamotzi, or if that's not there, then at least you need to eat mazonos, that would be cookie or cakes, or you can drink another glass of wine. L'chaim.